if you don't fix the underlying problem, like you were saying, it's going to be constant. This is going to be a constant problem every single month. Like, perfect example, when spring hits, when fall hits, when winter's coming,
Yep.
right? So why is it always a shock every
Yep.
time,
Yep.
that season hits and you're like, oh my God, what do I got to, right?
Yeah.
Don't turn your ads off, because you're super busy. Come up with a strategy to be able to handle those leads for when you don't have leads.
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you for listening to this next episode. Super excited to have this guest. I've been keeping an eye on him for quite some time. He's got an awesome Facebook group that helps service businesses, but I'm going to let him do the big introduction. And I know that you're really, really busy. So you got a busy schedule here. So we don't have a lot of time. So we're going to have to jam pack a lot of this stuff in real quick. So why don't you tell me your name, business, what you do?
Yeah, right on. Thanks for having me on, Rudy. I'm Dave Moerman. I'm residing just outside here, Vancouver, British Columbia. I've got, in a nutshell, 13 years experience in home services. I had a couple painting businesses. I'm now the owner of a washing and Christmas light business locally here in British Columbia. And hence my background behind me. I also fill my time coaching home service business owners how to systematize, how to scale their business, actually have a business, not just a job. So I love this space. I think it's a booming industry, and I'm really happy to be here and chat today, man.
Yeah, man, I'm super pumped to have you because you know what? One of the hardest things in having a service business is trying to understand or figure out what to do next. And sometimes we have overcomplicate, actually, not sometimes, most of the time, we tend to overcomplicate everything. And there's too much thinking and not enough doing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so tell me a little bit more about what you've been up to. Like we kind of got to the meat and potatoes about what it is that you've done, but tell me like what you're up to.
Yeah, definitely. So, I kind of split my time. Like I said, Revive, my washing company, is kind of at a point now that we've scaled it. We're not the biggest business in the industry by any means, but it's large enough that a management team can now effectively run that business. And I'm in a coaching role there, maybe 10 hours a week or so, which is really my passion, what I love to do. So again, I'm spending more of my time now helping home service business owners really understand their business and build systems. And we call it the 3 Ps. It's fundamentally what service business owners will miss the boat on. The first P is your profit, right? Knowing your numbers. A lot of people just think, oh, well, charge a little bit less than the big competitor down the street. Well, it's no way to make money or run a business. The second P is projects, right? A lot of guys, girls come in this industry. They buy the fanciest rig. They buy the fancy ride-on lawnmower, whatever. They really break the bank with equipment. It's like, no, sales and marketing should be 80% of your time initially getting this business going. And then the last thing is people, right? We're in the entire world right now is short staffed. So, if you're running a service business, chances are you're struggling to get great people. So we really camp on people. How do we onboard them? How do we recruit them? How do we train them? You run a service business, man, there's no real proprietary secret sauce. Effectively, the secret sauce is your culture, is the people. And it's something I spend a lot of my time in my own business. How do we get the best people and, move them up through our organizational chart? And now it's a pleasure helping other service business owners do the same thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, for those of you who are listening or watching to this video, go on to his Facebook page, like the Revive one. Like, go check out his service business and see what he's done. Like I service a local competitor of yours here, right?
Yep.
And so we're always kind of keeping an eye on you too, man. Like we're kind of looking, but you've done such a great job even just having even perceived value. Just you can see it's well put together. You got your team, their team's wearing, uniforms, everyone's smiling, everyone's happy. Like you've done a fantastic job of putting this all together. So that's why I've always been so interested in what you're doing, because you've already been through the ringer and you understand, like you said, those 3 Ps. You understand how these things effectively will help. And let's face it, like you started with window cleaning, right?
Yep. Started with window cleaning. Yep.
So window cleaning is not as profitable as many people think. It's a low start. It's an easy way to start a business, but there's no money in that. So you have to like really kind of expand a little bit into the pressure washing, roof washing, house washing kind of stuff, right? In order to get to start being profitable. And it's super important to be able to fill people in those right seats, right? Because not everybody, I mean, people can be happy just powering out a pressure washer all day, but they're not going to be good at cleaning windows, right?
Exactly, man. We've, when I got started in this 5 years ago, I thought, okay, we're cleaning windows, and then we added on gutter cleaning. And basically each year we've added another service to basically service our same customer, but with another crossover service that we have, roof washing, Christmas lights, cleaning flat surface cleaning, and soft washing the house. So that's really helped us on our number side of our business be able to, because it's very expensive to go out and get brand new shiny customers every single month after month after month. So if we can retain them and phone them and email them and say, hey, we also do this, guess what? Our customer acquisition cost just went way down. And, your ticket size for roof cleaning, house washing is a lot higher than a little window cleaning ticket. So you're going to get more revenue per truck per day, and your customer acquisition cost is going to plummet. So you kind of win on both fronts. And quite frankly, a lot of our guys actually love doing more of the larger tickets, right? We can do 1 to 2 jobs a day versus doing like 8, small window cleans. So there's a lot of wins, but we're pretty clear in our business having the 2 different divisions of, the larger tickets and then the smaller recurring services like window cleaning.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, that's super important. I did have a question that I was thinking about, and then I got sidetracked by my notification panel. So I had to go and mute that son of a bee.
Yeah, no
but
problem.
No, it's super important, man. Like there's no question. Like, one of the biggest concerns that always comes to me in my inbox from my clients is, well, it's really, really busy, or it's really, really slow. I need more leads. We're slowing down. Like, and they get in this panic mode. And and I'm fine with that. You want more leads, I can get you more leads, but you're going to be spending more money. There's no question about it. Like, we don't have a magic wand that's going to provide you leads at $10 a pop. So you're going to have to come up with a strategy to be able to understand that. Right. And we're going to get into this deep a little bit. Right. But, and that's one of the biggest things that really puts a strain on even the relationship side with us when it comes to the clients, because it's always this constant chase of leads. But maybe it's more understanding your numbers. Maybe it's more, what's your goal? What's your target? What are you trying to achieve? Right? How much is that going to cost you to get there? Right? And then you have all of those existing customers already that you can reach back out to. Right? And even in concrete coating, it may seem like that's not possible because, well, you put the floor down, the coating down, and you're done. Well, no, they might have more concrete. They might have more than one house.
Yeah.
They have friends, they have neighbors, right? So contact them, come up with some solutions to be able to try to get as much revenue out of that one lead as you can.
Yeah.
Right? You have the permission to do so because they came to you. Remember that, right? So anyway, what you were going to say something.
Yeah, it's so on point, man, what you're saying. Like an analogy I'll tell the listeners is it's almost like you going to a doctor when you're sick and being like, fix me, make me healthy. Let's say you had a heart attack, right? It's like, well, what's the problem behind the problem? And it's actually you've been eating crappy food for 10 years. You're, way overweight. You don't exercise. You have a stressful job, this and that. So really the problem is leading up to it. You don't just go to the doctor and say, hey, make me healthy. Let me lose 100 pounds. It's like this thing's been compounding. So I find in-home services will beat up on a digital marketer like yourself, be like, turn it on, Rudy, give me leads. It's like, well, what have you done as a business owner to actually build your brand over the last 10 years? And that's something I find a lot of people in our space don't really talk about. like all these little things build your brand, right? From the uniform to how you present yourself to the sales process to this to that to your website to, you said, the Facebook page. Oh, it looks so nice. It's like, that's branding, perceived value. So all those little things are going to contribute to getting the phone to ring, to leads coming in. My opinion, digital marketing like pours gas on what should be an already bit of a brewing fire. So I think we sometimes think digital marketing is like, create a miracle for me, Rudy. It's like, no, like just help me get more of what I've already started doing. So that'd be my analogy on lead gen.
And I love that. I love that analogy using the doctor, because, you know, as you know, you go to the doctor, well, they're more about fixing the, you know, the symptom, right? As opposed to the actual problem 9 times out of 10, right? And so that's kind of what throwing all this money is. You know, you got to get you guys to keep working. Like you have a responsibility to make sure that they have a job, and you have all these things going on. So I get the panic, and I get why, but if you don't fix the underlying problem, like you were saying, it's going to be constant. This is going to be a constant problem every single month. Like, perfect example, you know, when spring hits, you know, when fall hits, you know, when winter's coming, right? So why is it always a shock every time, you know, that season hits and you're like, oh my God, what do I got to do? Right. You know, don't turn your ads off, you know, because you're super busy. Come up with a strategy to be able to handle those leads for when you don't have leads. You know what I mean? There's so many, right? Different things about that. It's, you know, and it sounds like this is just we're talking, and maybe it sounds like it's even a bit of a rant or a bitch fest, but to be honest, it's not. The reality is it's so important that's why I wanted you to come on here, so that you could also kind of like align with this, right? And we are obviously aligning with it because it's so needed in every service business, right? It's just, if you don't have your numbers in check, you're not going to succeed. It's not scalable. It's not possible, right? So let's talk a little bit about KPIs, because this is the reason why we're doing this, right? So, what are they?
Yeah. So lots into it, man. So KPIs, key performance indicators. You know, I was going to say earlier to this, there's a lot of stuff to do, guys, when you're running a business. So just, I think it's one of those things you kind of don't know what you don't know. And I see these people on Facebook all the time, right? You might think it's a silly question, but it's like, when you dive into business, there's so much that you need to know. And whether you're cutting grass or painting homes or scrubbing windows or cleaning roofs, it does not matter what you're doing. It's the fundamental business model that's driven through your KPIs, through the numbers. And so, you know, any business is going to should be measured on set KPIs. We've got a bunch of them, but usually for talks like these, people that I work with, I try to keep it as simple as possible. When it comes to KPIs. So some key ones, you know, that we look for is your closing ratio. That's going to be, you know, a very important one. When you go out and do 10 estimates this week, are you closing, you know, 5 of them? Are you closing 8 of them? Or are you closing, you know, 2 of them? So that would be one initially you'd really want to, you know, keep a measure on. Another one, simple one, is just lead generation, right? How many leads are actually coming in the door? How many customers, prospects are putting up their hand each week saying, hey, I'm interested, give me a quote, right? So those would be 2 initial ones on the sales and marketing side that you really want to be measuring. And one last one I'll throw in is customer acquisition cost, right? How much does it cost me, the owner of the business, to get a customer, right? So you got to total up how much you're paying for leads, how many of those you're converting, and you're going to see, wow, it actually cost me, you know, $368 to get a customer. And again, all these KPIs need to be routed back to your annual budget so you can actually see, are we falling in line with our marketing spend? Are we too high? Are we too low? Is it working? So those are just 3 initial ones on the front end when it comes to promoting your services and then booking jobs.
And let's talk about that customer acquisition cost, because I mean, obviously, aside from the closing rate and the, you know, the ratio of how many jobs you're actually booking to the leads that are coming in. That's also important. But let's talk about the customer acquisition cost for a second, because every time I have a call or talk to somebody in regards to the customer acquisition cost, and I tell them, look, like, you know, what's your customer acquisition cost? I don't know. I get leads for like $30. Okay. So you don't know what your customer acquisition cost is. But, if I say it might cost you anywhere from $100 to $200 to acquire a customer,
yeah.
Right. But no, you get, what's the lifetime value of that customer? You need to figure that out. Like if you're doing, let's say, pressure washing, for example, you might be, and window cleaning, gutter cleaning. Well, guess what? You're going to have that, recurring every year, probably a couple of months.
Yeah.
Every year, right? Spring, fall, right? And so, you need to figure out if that is going to be profitable. So you can't just even go onto a group, be like, oh, how much does it cost you to get a customer? Well, I can get a customer for $50. And the other guy's like, well, mine is 300 or mine's 500. That doesn't matter. What matters is if it aligns, like you said, with your budget. Is it profitable? Does this make sense to me in my business, in my market? Because every market is different. Bicycles, the length of a bicycle is different, right? You might be in a market where everybody's just used to negotiating on price, and you have to figure out a way around that, which takes them longer to buy from you, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at my bookshelf here. I'm trying to find the book, but for the listeners, I would purchase today John Warrillow's book called The Automatic Customer. John breaks down really good in there what you're saying, Rudy. Hey, I'm spending, $183 today. That seems like a lot, but he talks about this subscription economy, right? And again, it's something in home services, I think, we're still waiting to hit the mark on, but generally most people will have a client base of, a few hundred to a few thousand clients that exactly they will call them every spring, or if they go away, they'll call them in the summer. But you generally have clients, like the rain's not going anywhere, nor is the dirt. They're going to be calling in. And so as a business owner, you need to think very strategically. Yes, we get a customer today in September of 2021, but if we talk in September of 2026, how many times is that customer just contracted you for services, let alone referred you, let alone left you a review on your GMB? Like, what is all of this stuff worth to you, the business owner? So we've totaled it up in our business and really built our marketing battle plan around what's a customer worth to us, how much does it cost to get one? And then I think we do a really good job at our company with customer retention. We don't spend a whole lot in marketing, to be honest, but we really work hard on the back end to retain our customers, check in with them, and put them back on the schedule. And that's really where I think a lot of business owners miss the mark, because it's a whole lot more sexy and fun to go get a dopamine boost and get a new customer, right? When you're reaching back to your old customers is a little bit like, whatever. But the best people to give you money, like the best pond to go fishing in, is already where you caught a fish, right? So just drop your rod in again and start reeling.
Yeah, because if you're putting your ads out, that's all cold. And you have to spend all this energy and resources to try to get them to buy in, right? People only buy from you from 3 reasons, right? Know, like, and trust. So you got to create that whole entire environment for them in order for them to decide if they want to buy from you. Whereas you've already done that with this client over here in your list, right? So why not just make that 5-minute phone call, remind them that your service is due, or, just to let them know, hey, listen, we're actually got more room to service more clients in your area. I'll tell you what, if you can talk to your neighbors about us, let them know that, we're doing that, we'll throw you $100 cash, check, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Right. Give them money, make them your salesperson.
Yep.
Right. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Right? These businesses don't have that stuff.
100%, man. I think really the root issue of this all is just a lack of planning, from like a lack of foresight from a business owner. They're thinking in the here and now. How do I get leads today? I quit my job. I need to feed my family. It's like this hyper state. Exactly. Versus like, let's build this thing over 10 years, 120 months, right? What kind of decisions are you going to make building this for the long haul? Every business I do, I'm like, all right, the next 10 years, I'm going to push this thing and we'll see where we end up. I think when you can push out the timeline, you really get smart thinking today with my decisions today, this week, this month are going to feed into this 10-year plan. And I don't really care what your revenue is this year, to be honest. Like, it's just one little speck on the timeline. It's more about what seeds are we planting today to reap a harvest in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be.
And let's talk about that for a second on a personal level. How much stress do you have doing that on a daily basis, as opposed to putting out fires and panicking and having anxiety, can't sleep at night? You wake up at 5 a.m, you can't get to bed till 2 because you can't sleep because you got so much to do and figure out, but you're not making the planning. You're just trying to survive the next day, right? Yep. So now you're stress-free because you got it all down. Because here, I've been. I don't know if you guys have read the book Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz. Yep. It's an amazing book because he talks about the fact that all your systems, you already have them.
Yeah.
They're just up here.
Yeah.
Right. So get them out of your head, get them on paper, and just get the job done. Right. And I don't have time. Well, you do have time. You have to make time. Right. You have to make it a priority and then schedule your day around that. Right. There's ways to do it. Like successful business owners do it every single day. They know the importance of a KPI or getting their numbers figured out or a system. They have to block out that time because everything else is commentary, right? Everything is just pounding at your door because you're the business owner looking for a solution, right? So you as a business owner really, really need to take that time. And it's not 9 o'clock at night when you should be spending it with your family. You need to figure out a way to bust out that hour or two every single day, like a do not disturb day.
100%, man. Again, lack of planning. I think having that sacred time to really plan out the week and, be e-mything the business, working on it. But as a business owner, what I see, people have more time than they have money in our space, especially in startup. You've been doing this a few years. It might be a bit of a different story, but typically your time is going to be your most precious asset. And unfortunately, business owners are just pouring it into their business, fighting fires the whole day. They just blow past all the agreements they made with themselves, right? No planning session, no family time, no vacation, no time just to sit and strategically think, no time for coaching, no time for it's just, they blow past all the $500 an hour tasks that matter. And they trade it for the $17 an hour task to jump from $17 an hour task to task. They don't have a budget. It's literally not even fair. These people competing with people who know business and know their numbers and can figure it out and systematize. And those guys who know the business, they work a third of the amount of these other guys. They work on the higher level things. Their businesses are better. They're worth more. The business owners are happy. I'm seeing such a divide in the space from people who know it and are figuring it out. And then those that are just, Squeegee Steve, Bucket Bob, Larry Ladder, whatever you want to call them. They're just busy fighting these low value tasks the entire day. And that's literally why I went into coaching, is because I'm like, why is everyone stuck on the truck? What are they missing? And I'm no miracle worker, but I've approached this business from a business perspective, not from a technical. We don't teach any technical training. That does not move the needle forward. And so I think it's just a misunderstanding of the business that these people are actually in.
Yeah, 100%, man. In fact, I have an episode that I just did with Melody Edwards. Mm-hmm. She has the home service VA. If you haven't watched that or listened to that episode yet, go back and watch it, because it talks a lot about, how important it is to have a VA, because it's really easy to get the help that you need. You just have to be willing to let that go. Right. When it comes to the technical side, obviously doing the actual physical work, that's a little bit different. You're going to have to figure out how to weed those out and get the good team, good rock stars on your team. But in terms of doing, like you say, the $5 an hour job, the, $17 an hour job, whatever it is, like phoning your existing client base, you can hire VA to do that. You can go to hiremymom.com, which is a really good resource where you can, I think you pay for an ad like Indeed, but it's not very expensive, and then hire somebody in the United States doesn't have a really thick accent, right? And it's just a mom working out of her home who can follow up and make these calls on your behalf, right? There's ways to do it that doesn't break the bank. You just have to be strategic and think about out of the box.
Yeah.
Right. Out of the box. Right.
Yeah.
What are some things that I can do? Because we don't live in a world anymore where it's traditional. Well, I got to have this structure in a specific way. You have the ability to do anything you want, right? In terms of your business to make it work for you.
100%. One last thing I'll throw in too, man, is like, I think a lot of these, someone might hear that, oh, that's great, a VA, how do I get the money for that? Again, coming back to your pricing, I would recommend reading a very basic book. Ellen Rohr wrote it, and it's called How Much Should I Charge? It's like the $20 book, easy read. But basically that book talks about as someone goes in a painting business and thinks they need to charge $30 an hour for their painting services because they love to paint and it's better than their $22 an hour corporate job they had before. But what the book ends up saying in this analogy is the owner's selling price at $30 an hour ends up, when she puts in all her numbers for what she needs to make, it comes out to like $143 per hour. Like it's literally more than four times what she thinks she needed to charge initially. And there's too many business owners charging out for cheap when literally it should be astronomically higher than you can imagine. And then you might think, well, I'll get no work. And then it comes back to perceived value. So it's just like, there are a lot of dominoes you need to line up to be successful in this space. And I strongly believe that's why 90% of people don't make it to 10 years is because it's just, is it staffing? We're not making money. There's no leads. I'm getting undercut. Yeah. It's literally just which of like the 26 dominoes are going to like crush you. Right. So it's just, it's like playing whack-a-mole and there's all these things to do. But if you truly love the business and you approach it with a CEO mindset, you're just looking over top of it saying, all right, this next month, where does my attention need to be? Okay, it needs to be in marketing. Let's dial this and do this. So it's just a very logical way to approach it. And there is very little space to get emotional with business too. It's black and white, logical. There is a problem to fix in my business every single day. I check my phone, check my Slack. Cool. There's a new problem that needs to get fixed. So not being emotional, just black and white. Let's get this solved as a team.
Yeah, I love that. And so the best way to know that you don't have KPIs and to figure out which KPI to really implement first is probably the one that's causing the most problems in your business. So if you're really struggling with a lot of things, or if you're broke and all this stuff, you got all this money going out and ad spend, take a moment and figure out what's going on. And that's when you need, and same with systems. That's when you need to add systems, is when you know that you are so overwhelmed with work that you're working 18 hours a day, you can delegate and you can automate. Create systems so that they can take those tasks over for you on your behalf. And when it comes, I'm going to add to that one more thing with that employee, because I know you got to go, but every employee that you bring into your business makes you money. It does not cost you money. And the reason why that is because it frees up your time to do the things that make money, right? Like you were talking about the $500 an hour jobs. Yep. So you're freeing, and yeah, of course, if you're spending $30 or charging $30 an hour, then you're definitely a technician mindset. Like you need to get out of that box and you need to think about how much everything costs you and charge 3 times that, right? In order to be able to pay the bills.
Yep.
And if you're not going to get those people as customers, they're probably not the ones you want anyway. So You're okay. You're going to get ones who will pay the $90 an hour. They're used to it. You're not the only painter or pressure washer or concrete coating business in the world. Okay. Yeah. They've been through this process before. They know what's good, what's chargeable. And if you're only charging $30 an hour, they know that they can get whatever they want out of you because they can tell that you need the money. So it's a different mindset, different customer. You don't want it. So
if I get 2 quotes at my home, man, one is to, wash my home for $800 and one is to wash it for, $300, I'm automatically perceive value. Okay, what is the guy who's charging 800 doing that the buddy charging 300 is missing? So you're always looking for this gap, and there's a reason that you get what you pay for. And so, you know, in our business, we've chosen to go for the affluent customer, not the absolute, you know, one that only drives, you know, McLarens and Aston Martins, but under that, there's a market of, we just want our crap taken care of. We're willing to pay more for an amazing service experience. We want the company with the great reviews, and we're going to get 3 quotes, and we're going to probably choose the highest one because we believe that's going to bring us and our family the most value. But if you don't deliver to it, you're going to be hearing from us and you're going to have to come fix it. So that's where the business owner, if you truly have a great high level of service, man, charge for that because you're worth it. So
on that, real quick, man, this is, we could go forever, but on this, man, like, that's why if you're having problems with people, like, I hear this all the time. Oh, well, you know, everything's always about price. Like, I just can't, you know, what's your objection? Oh, it's price. Well, you know, where you got all these leads coming in, but you can't close them. What's your objection? Oh, it's price. Okay. The consumer cannot attach the value to the money that you're charging.
Yeah.
So just like we were talking about, we'll come back and fix your problems. We'll do all these things. We have certified technicians, and here's their ID badge. Here's you know, here's the uniform. Here's some things. Here's some before and afters. Here's a case study. Here's a testimonial. Throw it all at them in an email.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like overwhelmed with positivity and trust, right, and loyalty and value.
Well,
here, take my money. Take my money.
Man. And those of you who have a good GMB ranking and testimonials, like, I learned this back in my student painting days, right? Imagine a homeowner is in $1 million house, you know, back in the day, maybe wasn't worth that much, but let's just say that for the example. And you're going to get someone to paint their house. Why are they going with Dave, the college kid who's painted this many homes in his life, right? My first year, 31 homeowners hired me to paint whatever their house was worth. How did that happen? Originally, I got in the door. I did my first 10, made sure they were happy, asked them if they could be a reference for me. And I started showing up to quotes by my 4th year with this massive, we called it a client manual. And I said, cool, which neighborhood are you in? At the time, you know, it wasn't digital. So I'd show them the piece of paper, say, cool, you're in Rosemary Heights. Here's your reference list. Oh, you're here. Boom. So every quote I'm doing, nice. I'm saying, we already did 10 of your neighbors. So a lot of you guys just haven't even taken the time to do that when you add in social proof, you just added on probably 50%. You could get more for yourself. And I'm not saying rip off the market, but I'm saying be among the upper echelon, because then you're going to attract people. You have money for marketing, and the whole thing just works a whole lot better. So
those are sales related activities that you need to be doing as an owner.
Yep. 100%. Like, utilize that social proof, because again, this whying of the industry going on, of people who've more figured it out, you got to use that social proof. And we have people phone us every week. You know, why'd you hire us? Oh, I read your Google reviews, right? It's not how much is it? It's when can you get me on the schedule? So again, back to branding, perceived value. Price is only a factor if you failed to deliver on the other intangibles part of the value. So 100%. If it's just price, like, you're probably not going to be our customer, because there's other things that we deliver on that maybe you won't value. And again, you shouldn't be booking 85% of your bids, and you shouldn't be booking 19%, right? You should be in a middle sweet spot.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, man. Well, we got 30 seconds. So where can people find you online?
They can connect with me on Facebook is good, or check out my website too. You know, homeservicebusinesscoach.com is probably the easiest. They can find me and connect with me.
I'll always go to your Facebook page from there. You got links.
You bet. That. Yeah, always happy to have a chat and help people. I do this because I love it, and I feel like the industry needs it. So
what's your Facebook group?
Yeah, home service cleaning entrepreneurs. So for those of you that have cleaning businesses, definitely want to find me there, or find me on Facebook, David Moerman. You can connect with me there as well.
Okay, sounds great, man. Really appreciate your time. It was awesome. This was probably one of my favorite episodes so far. So I really appreciate that, man.
You bet, Rudy. Thanks for having me on, man. We'll chat again.
You bet. Trying to figure out how digital marketing works, trying to figure out how to get a website to rank, how to make it convert, trying to figure out how Facebook works, how Instagram works, how do you get engagement, how do you get followers, how do you get likes, how do you get reviews consistently on a single month. All of this can be extremely daunting for a business owner, especially if you're just trying to grow your business. Your job, your responsibility as a CEO is to automate and delegate. Your job is to make sure that everyone is put in the right spots. Having to spend all this time trying to figure out digital marketing tactics and skills, honestly, it's a complete waste of your time, resources, and money. You need to hire a company that is dedicated to you and to the industry, like Floor Coding Marketers. Stop trying to weigh your options. Just get on board, hire floor coding marketers for your agency. If you own a concrete coating business, this is your best shot at your success. If you want to 3 times or even up to 10 times your revenue, this is the best way to do it.